All right, Evan, you have fished Lake Wausau. What do you think of Lake Wausau?
I don't like it.
Why?
We never caught anything.
If I had to go on any body of water to try to find smallmouth bass, there is one lure and only one lure I'm pulling out of my tackle box to start with. And that is What's up, everybody? Len here with 715 Outdoors. I'm wearing the hat backwards just because of the lighting being a little bit weird. But I want to talk today about fishing. I'm putting the food plots on hold. We're ahead of the curve where the land is concerned, and so it's fishing season, and I want to take advantage. And today, Evan is a little bit under the weather, so I am going to a lake today that I used to be very confident had a state record smallmouth bass in it, and I'll show you why. I'll show you my personal best smallmouth, and maybe you've seen bigger smallies, but this is about a 6+ pounder. I don't remember exactly, but it was over 6. And the thing is, this was not a unique fish in this body of water. I used to be able to go out after work for a couple of hours and limit out on smallies. But here's the thing, this lake has gone totally cold for me. And the reason is, over the last 10 years, there's been 2 occasions when the dams on each side of this lake needed to be repaired. So I think within 2 years of each other, the lake was dropped more than 15 feet. And the fishing just hasn't been the same since. Now, the lake I'm talking about is Lake Wausau in Wausau, Wisconsin. It is fed by the Wisconsin River. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm still convinced that there are fish to be found. Since the repairs, I have not caught more than 1 or 2 fish at the most. And I'm talking of any species. I caught 2 pike, 2 little hammer handle pike, and that's it, fishing for smallies, which happens, right? So I want to show you the lures that were my go-to lures for smallmouth bass. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to the most favorite, and I'm going to try them all today. And maybe I'm being a little bit foolhardy here. Maybe I should be changing tactics or trying something new. And there's an argument to be made for that. But what I want to prove to myself and prove to Evan today is that either this lake is done and it's not worth our time anymore, or we were mistaken, it's back, and we need to start paying more attention to this lake. So let me talk about the lures that I typically use for smallmouth bass, which I used to take with me out there all the time and catch smallmouth with. And I'm going to start with my least favorite, but still successful, top water. Now, this is a whopper plopper. I believe this is a size 90, if I'm not mistaken. But top water lures, whether they be spinner style, what are they, like a buzz bait, things like that, really get the smallmouth excited. So I've had success with the whopper plopper on other parts of the Wisconsin River. So this is going to be on one of these rods today. I'm taking 3 rods out with me, all pre-rigged. So what would be my next favorite? Well, my next favorite would have to be a deep diving Rapala style crankbait. And I just stuck my treble hook in my jeans. There we go. So here's what I have here. I have 2 different colors. I have one that is more like a crayfish color, and I have one that is more of like a shad or a shiner kind of a color. And the reason I like these, especially this, is even in shallow water, in 4 feet of water even, what I like about these is that these will, and they have to be floaters, by the way, they will catch on the rocks. The lips will catch on the rocks. You give your line a little slack and it pops back up. And I think what's happening there is it's simulating a crayfish or crayfish-like behavior, and it drives them wild. This was the first way, accidentally, I was mistaken in the depth of water that I was in. And there were a couple times where I snagged and I let slack in the line, and all of a sudden I found myself with a fish. So sometimes those kind of accidents happen. Here's another one. This is like the most generic lure I own that I've probably caught more smallies with anything. I don't even know if this might be a storm maybe, but this fat little chubby fella has caught a lot of smallmouth. So those are gonna be, I'm gonna have one of those tied onto my line. My next favorite would have to be the lipless rattler. The lipless rattler, and again, I try to get something that I like reds and greens together because I think that those simulate a crayfish, especially in really heavy, dark, like coffee colored water, right? So like Lake Wausau looks like iced tea. And those do really well. I'll also have a shiner color for that. And finally, my number one most favorite, I will tell you this, that if I had to go on any body of water to try to find smallmouth bass, there is one lure and only one lure I'm pulling out of my tackle box to start with. And that is this. This is a 3/8 ounce jig head with a 4-inch power grub. And that's it. All I'm doing is ripping this. I'm not even jigging it. And if it's slow, I might put a beetle spin on it. Bronze or silver, doesn't seem to matter. But this has caught more smallmouth bass for me. This caught my personal best smallmouth. And I've caught several 5+ pound smallmouth bass on this very lure. Just ripping it in heavy current over rocks in 5 feet or less water. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but this drives them wild. And the reason that I gave up on this body of water is because no matter how many times I threw this lure in my hot spots, nothing. So we're gonna go out today and we are going to give it one last hard attempt to find smallmouths. And if today there's no success, we're done. We're done with Lake Wausau. So come along with me on the journey and we'll see what's out there. All right, so I got the Lose, woo, and I put the Whopper Plopper in my thumb. I got the Lose Orange Crush with the Whopper Plopper and running monofilament on there. I think it's like 12-pound test. For anyone who cares, I've got the old reliable deep diving generic crankbait. It's got engraving on the bottom. I'm not sure. That's the Storm. This is on my Lose Speed Stick with a 7.3, I believe. And I got my Lose SS15HA. This is also a 7.3 on the cranking stick from Bass Pro Shops. Check that out. And finally, we've got the number one. I'm going with the black today because it's a little overcast out, but the sun's poking through a little bit. If it gets real dark, or if it gets real bright out, I'll switch to white. But we're starting with black with the Flieger Presidential. And this. I've had this combo for so long it's not even funny. And it's always been very reliable, running monofilament on that, running braid on the other two. Let me show you the tackle box today. This is it. This is the whole tackle box right here. I got some beetle spins just in case I need a little bit more action, but this is it, guys. This is what I'm running today.
We're fishing. It's official now. There's a really strong current today, as there always is, just below the dam here. I'm in a shallow flat that maxes out at about 5.5 feet deep. And basically, all I'm using my trolling motor for is to help me maintain my distance from the island. And I'm just casting toward the island, hoping for the best. And of course, like I said, the one lure that I would use in any body of water to find smallmouth bass is the power grub. 4-inch power grub on a 3/8 jig head. So that's what I'm using today. That's what I'm starting off with. And this is fast fishing because the current is so strong, but I gotta tell you, this is where I caught my PB, and I find myself snagged already, which is really going to be a problem because I cannot defeat this current. I was afraid of this. I just have to open my bail. This is not good. Oh, I think it came free actually. That's a good result. Unexpected, but I will take it. So this is really rocky all down this shoreline here. So anything that looks like a crayfish, anything like that is going to be great. I'm just ripping. I'm literally just ripping. Usually what I find is I tend to catch fish where, especially smallies, I tend to catch fish where a fast current meets a slow current or still water. Like this little bay right here, seems like they kind of stalk, or if you find an eddy behind rocks, they'll just kind of camp out and wait for food to come to them. They're like all fish, they're pretty opportunistic. And another snag. This one I think I can get to though. Oh, it came free. It came free. The thing about smallmouth, the way they hit, it almost always feels like a snag initially. It almost always feels like, and because of that, sometimes I tend to not set my hook. Oh, I got one. Oh, it's a little dink. Little dink. Hey, there's hope. There is hope. And it happened right where I thought it would, where the currents come together. So that's encouraging. That was about a 10 or 12 inch smallmouth. Oh, got him. Nope, he come off again. All right, I found a little hole here. I just need to get one on the boat. I mean, that would be great. Here's the beauty of this lake. And I left my garage at 2:05. I was in the boat launching and on my way to the spot here at 2:20. Come on. I had a strike. Had a strike. Come on. It's a little one pulling on the tail. Come on. Nothing. Another little strike. Here's what happens to a jig head when you pull it over rocks. Loses its color. Begs the question why we worry about color at all, I guess. Gonna run this rattler. Now, you want a fast reel in shallow, fast water. You want to be ripping this sucker. Now is not the time for a backlash. That I can tell you. Oh, got one. All right. Little smallie. Little fella. Oh, easy. Oh, barely had him hooked. And then I hooked. Whoa. Oh, he's out of there. Now, in the meantime, we got to figure out how to unhook this nightmare. I anticipated this was a possibility. I just didn't think it would happen so quickly. But, you know, I got to use the trolling motor an awful lot. And I only have one battery in this boat, which also starts the motor. And the motor barely started there. So I think I'm going to go upriver, and I'm going to kind of get deeper and kind of in the middle where it's a little more rocky, and I'm going to throw the big lip crankbait there, and see if we can simulate some crayfish action. And I'm just going to float it all the way down to the end of the island, and I just have to use my I got to use the trolling motor as minimally as possible. I'm not far from the boat landing. In fact, I might just go around the island here and float my way back to the boat landing just to be safe, because yeah, I think in fact that's the only way to do this. I either do that and keep fishing, or I just stop now and go back, because the last thing I want to do is be stranded on the river with one little canoe. All I have is a canoe paddle. That's it. So in this stretch of river, I've never caught much. So I might actually do some top water action, because it's a little more still over there, and just see what happens. Well, as I wrap things up here, let me just say that while I'm not impressed, I'm encouraged. I would say the best thing that I can say about today's little experiment is that it's kind of inconclusive as to whether Lake Wausau is back for me. You know, catching fish is certainly a good sign, and where they're small smallies, they are big smallies. They are schooling fish. But the question is, can I convince Evan to come back here and try again? Because I'd like to. How many fish would I have to catch for you to think it's worth it to go try again?
3.
3? All right.
The spots where I've always caught them before is exactly where I caught them today. So that's I mean, what more can you ask for, right? I mean, my goodness. So leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Have you ever had a lake or even a spot on a lake that was really good and then turned to crap? And did it come back? Was it ever good again? Some of the seasoned fishermen, I'm sure, have had this experience before, and I'd sure like to hear from you. And if you're still watching to the end of this here video, I thank you. I hope that if you're not subscribed, that today is the day that I earned your subscription. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and ring that bell so you get notification of when videos come up. I like talking about this kind of stuff all the time. A lot of fishing, a lot of hunting, a lot of outdoor stuff. So we can all learn together. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.